2012 Republican National Convention with Brian and Brian, sponsored by the Media Research Center.
105.9 FM
and AM 630.
WMAL.
Good morning, everybody. Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, live from Tampa, Florida, where the GOP is kicking off their grand old party. In fact, we saw some people who have been partying a little too hard overnight as we were coming into work this morning. How you doing, Mr. Neiman?
Pretty good. Feeling groovy. Got some coffee in the systems. You know, it's a lot of fun down here, though.
I think I picked the wrong day to give up the 5-hour energy drink. Obviously.
You don't have to give it up. I'm sure there's some place you can find it around here.
Yeah. So yesterday, you and I, after we got through with the broadcast, we were roaming. We were rambling guys. We rambled all over the convention center, and we ran into several very interesting people. John Voight, who I think had some interesting things to say about what it is to be a conservative in Hollywood these days, the actor John Voight. And then we also ran into Michael Steele. And you kicked it off.
We're here with Michael Steele, former chairman of the RNC.
Yeah.
For you personally, what's it like not to be, the one guy who's always microphone?
Well, they still blame me for the hurricane, so but no, it's great to be back here. I've got a chance to see some of the folks that were part of the welcoming committee and the host committee at the time. And it's just good to reconnect. They've done a great job here in Tampa. I think folks, despite the soggy start, are going to have a great week. It's going to be a great opportunity to not just see and experience Tampa, but for the RNC to sort of show itself a little bit. And this is a great place to do it.
At the end of the week, what lingering thought do you want left in the mind of undecided voters?
What I think the takeaway for me would be ready. That word sticks out. I think Romney has an opportunity to show that he's ready to be president. This is about hiring and firing. That's what we're asking the American people to do. And, for the country to fire Obama, just like in my time we fired Pelosi. And so you have to make the case that we're ready to lead, that we're ready to do the heavy lifting, to turn the country around, its economy, and to give people a sense of a purpose moving forward. So that for me is going to be the important takeaway, to demonstrate that we're ready to lead, and that yes, we got the conversation in 2008, we understood it, the hope and change, but this is now about being ready to lead.
And there is this distraction, the little tropical storm turned hurricane. How do you handle that, or do you just ignore it?
No, you don't ignore it. No, you cannot ignore it. I think it's going to be a relevant topic until it's dissipated and no longer a danger or threat to life and property. And so I'm sure the organizers here, certainly when we set up this process, those contingencies were discussed and there were battle plans, if you will, put in place. The RNC and the city, and as well as the state, seem to be executing on that right now. And the question, I think, now going forward with Louisiana and Mississippi in the sites of the storm is how does it impact the convention? How do people walk away from this? How do they feel? People talking about the narrative of the split screen image. I'm sure those are legitimate concerns that will be addressed and are being considered right now by the organizers. And should this hurricane turn deadly, I'm sure that they will do and take the appropriate steps.
But there's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing. No, about the storm. No, there's nothing you can do about the storm. I mean, the storm is the storm. That's an act of nature. How we respond to that, and of course the image that we want at the time that we're dealing with that is very important for Mitt Romney and the party. As John McCain decided in 2008, he thought life and property were much more important than party and a good time. And I'm sure that's the same kind of thinking that's going on right now with respect to this storm.
One last question before we let you go, because Brian and I have this huge debate about where the polls are right now, and he says it's tighter than a tick, a Texas tornado, as he likes to use for his analogies. And my gut feeling tells me that this could be a comfortable win for the Republicans. Who's right, who's wrong, who's crazy, who's not? Is that a loaded question for you?
Well, Brian's wrong. Well, you're both Brian, right? Spoken like a true politician.
But you looked at me when you said that.
No. Actually, I think Brian, you're closer to it. That this is going to be a closer race than people think. I appreciate where you're coming from, and I think that you can make an argument. What I'm looking at, disregard registered voter polls from here on out, because that's not really where the battleground is. It's likely voters. They're the ones who are consistent, regular voters who are telling pollsters, "I'm going to the polls." they matter. Then you get into, of course, how they weight it, but they still matter, and that's going to be important. The other number that's important for you to watch, I'm not worried about 8.3 and 12 million unemployed or whatever. It's 53%. That's Obama's popularity. People like him by the number of 53%, 52%. That number is going to weigh as well on how people feel going into the voting booth. Because keep in mind, people don't necessarily turn out. They don't fire people they like. So
Except for Bob Ehrlich.
Except for Bob Ehrlich. Except for Bob, exactly. And that's one of the lessons here. You got to watch how people going into this thing are parsing all of this, and that's why it's important for Romney this week to not say, "Oh, like me," to have a Sally Fields moment, but to more importantly say, "I get that you have questions, and let me address those questions, and let me tell you what my policy is going to be and what the country's going to look like." That sort of brings people around to his way of thinking and looking at the future, and that can be offset, if you will, that whole likability thing. So there's some real good dynamics here, and I think you're right, Brian, that the reality of it is this is going to be a close, tight race, because at the margins in states like Virginia and Pennsylvania and Ohio, which we all know are seriously in play, it's really close right now.
So let's just say that one more time. Brian Wilson, right.
Brian Wilson, right.
Brian Neiman, wrong.
Brian Neiman, wrong.
All right.
For now.
And on a lighter note, I notice you have adopted the Brian Wilson #1 rule of going to a convention.
What's that, sir?
Wear comfortable tennis shoes.
Amen, baby. Amen. I'm loving my kids. I'm loving them. I got my black and whites on, baby. I got them on. It's you because it's walking. Brian.
On your feet all day long.
A veteran here. This is walking all day and moving around, and so I may dress it up a little bit later on, by Thursday. But right now, I'm just hanging loose. I got the shirt tail out. I got the jacket on.
Yeah.
Michael Steele, it's a pleasure to talk
It's
to you.
great to be with the fellas always. Thank you, Brian and Brian.
There you go.
Very cool.